There's a place where chrome meets concrete, where horsepower breathes beneath rafters of steel and wood, where every sunrise spills golden light across hoods that gleam like liquid mercury. This isn't just a home. This isn't just a garage. This is the dream that lives in the heart of every true collector. A sanctuary where life and legacy park side by side under one endless roof. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You wake up, and before your feet touch the floor, you can hear it. That faint echo of engine dreams, the whisper of stories trapped in steel bodies just beyond your bedroom wall. You pour your morning coffee, and instead of staring at a neighbor's fence, you're looking through floor-to-ceiling glass at a 1967 Shelby GT500, its curves catching the early light like a sculpture in a museum. Except this museum is your home. This cathedral of combustion is where you lay your head at night. This is the Barndominium, but not the one you've seen in country living magazines with hay bales and mason jars. No, this is something else entirely. This is what happens when automotive passion refuses to be separated from daily life. When a collector looks at traditional architecture and says, "That's not enough space for who I really am." The genius of a car collector's barndominium begins with a fundamental truth. These machines aren't just possessions. They're chapters of history. They're frozen moments of human ingenuity. They're the metallic embodiment of dreams someone had decades ago, and they deserve to live in a space that understands their significance. So forget everything you think you know about garages attached to homes. Forget the cramped two-car spaces with oil-stained concrete and walls that trap the smell of gasoline like a guilty secret. In this design, the cars don't hide in the shadows. They command the stage. Picture this. An open floor plan that stretches 100 feet in one direction, maybe more. Steel beams rising like the ribs of some great beast, supporting a roof that seems to hover impossibly high above. And beneath it, not just parking spots. No, carefully curated zones. Each vehicle gets its own breathing room, its own moment in the spotlight, its own story to tell to anyone who walks through those massive sliding doors. The beauty is in the honesty of the materials. Exposed steel painted in deep charcoal or left raw to age with character. Reclaimed wood beams, not because they're trendy, but because they bring warmth to all that metal and glass. Because they remind you that craftsmanship isn't just about the cars, it's about the space that holds them. Polished concrete floors that stretch like frozen lakes, reflecting the undercarriages of legends. Easy to clean because, let's be real, maintenance happens, fluids leak, work gets done. But here's where the magic really happens, where the barndominium transcends simple square footage and becomes something almost spiritual, the integration. See, in a traditional home, you live in one world and your collection exists in another. There's a door between you and your passion, a threshold that constantly reminds you that these are separate lives. Not here. In the car collector's barndominium, the living quarters aren't an afterthought. They're a platform for perpetual connection. Imagine a mezzanine level suspended above the main floor, a loft where your bedroom, your office, your lounge areas float like a treehouse for adults, with glass railings that let you gaze down at your collection while you work, while you read, while you dream. You're never disconnected. The cars are always there, always visible, always reminding you why you work so hard, why you hunt for that next piece of rolling art. The kitchen opens to the floor below. You're cooking dinner and glancing at a '58 Corvette. You're answering emails and your eyes drift to a vintage Porsche 911 bathed in afternoon light. This isn't distraction. This is context. This is living with your passion, not next to it. And the glass. Oh, the glass. Massive industrial windows, some 30 feet tall, that blur the line between inside and outside, that bring in natural light by the truckload. that turn the space into a living photograph that changes with every hour of the day. Morning light makes chrome glow soft and warm. Sunset turns everything amber and gold. Night transforms the barndominium into a glowing jewel box visible from the road, a beacon that says someone here understands what matters. But collecting isn't just about owning. Any true enthusiast knows this. It's about touching, tinkering, understanding. It's about knuckles scraped on old bolts and the satisfaction of hearing an engine roar back to life after you've spent 3 weekends covered in grease. So the car collector's barndominium doesn't just display, it facilitates. Built into this vast space is a workshop area that would make professional mechanics weep with envy. We're talking hydraulic lifts that rise from the floor, capable of hoisting even the heaviest vintage American muscle into the air, so you can inspect, repair, dream. Tool chests the size of small cars, organized with surgical precision. Air compressor systems plumbed throughout. Welding stations. Paint booths with proper ventilation and lighting that reveals every imperfection in a clear coat. This is where restoration happens. Where a rusted shell pulled from someone's backyard slowly, painstakingly transforms back into the machine it was always meant to be. Every car in this space has a story, but some of those stories have chapters that were written right here, in this workshop, with these hands, under these lights. And the beauty of the barndominium design is that this workspace doesn't feel separate. It flows. It's all one continuous narrative of automotive devotion. There's no wall between the pristine show cars and the project cars. They exist in harmony, in conversation, each one teaching the others, each one waiting for its turn under your attention. The ceiling height matters here too. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about function. Try installing an engine with a standard 8-foot ceiling and you'll understand real quick why these soaring spaces aren't just for show. It's about having room to work, to move, to think, to breathe while you're elbow deep in a transmission rebuild. There's another dimension to this design that separates it from just being a big garage where someone happens to sleep. The car collector's barndominium is inherently social. It's built for gatherings, for moments when the people who understand your obsession can walk through those doors and feel their pulse quicken. Picture it, 20 people scattered throughout this vast space, drinks in hand, wandering between vehicles like visitors in the world's most personal museum. Someone's kneeling by a wire wheel, admiring the spokes. Someone else is sitting in the driver's seat of a car they lusted after in high school, hands at 10 and 2, grinning like a kid. Conversations echo off the high ceilings. Stories get told. Histories get shared. This is where community happens. The design accommodates this naturally. The open plan means no cramped corners, no bottlenecks. The mezzanine provides an elevated perspective, a place where people can stand with a bourbon and look down at the collection spread below like a mechanical constellation. Some barndominiums incorporate full bar areas, lounge spaces with leather furniture that's seen enough car shows to know it needs to be comfortable and durable. This is entertainment space that doesn't apologize for what it is. There's no pretending the cars are just decoration. They're the point. They're the reason everyone's here. And the barndominium design celebrates that truth with every sight line, every material choice, every lighting decision. But let's talk about what you don't see in the photos. The details. The quiet genius that makes these spaces work not just as showrooms, but as homes. Climate control that would make NASA jealous. Because these machines, these investments, these time capsules, they can't live in temperature extremes. The barndominium integrates HVAC systems that maintain museum quality conditions. 58 degrees. 40% humidity. Always. Your cars don't age here. They hibernate in perfect stasis, waiting for the moment you fire them up and remind them what they were born to do. Lighting that's been thought about for hours, days, weeks. Track lighting that can be adjusted to highlight different vehicles depending on your mood. LED strips hidden beneath cars, making them appear to float. Spotlights that turn specific vehicles into dramatic focal points. Natural light managed through motorized shades that protect paint from UV damage while still letting you wake up to sunshine on chrome. Security that's invisible but comprehensive. Because you don't get to collect rare machines without understanding what's at stake. Cameras that see everything. Alarm systems integrated so seamlessly you forget they're there until you need them. Some collectors build these barndominiums in rural areas specifically for privacy, for space, for the freedom to rev an engine at midnight without someone calling the cops. And then there's the power infrastructure. Standard homes have what, 100 amp service? Maybe 200? Car collectors need more. Much more. For lifts. For welders. For battery tenders keeping 15 vehicles topped off simultaneously. Here's what they don't tell you about spaces like this. They change you. Living in a car collector's barndominium isn't just about proximity to your collection. It's about existing in a physical manifestation of your values, your history, your dreams.